There she is. Oh my gosh.
Whoa, Rotunda, whoa.
Whoa, Nelly. Hello, friends and fiends. Welcome to Bugs Need Heroes, a podcast where an artist and an entomologist team up to illustrate the inspiring abilities of insects to create a bug-themed superhero. I'm Amanda.
And I'm Kelly.
Before we get started creating this bug-themed character, what's bugging you, Kelly?
Nothing. I don't think anything's bugging me. It's been
Oh,
an okay week. It hasn't been an amazing week, but it's been an okay week. I guess just putting the show notes together for this episode has been a struggle.
oh.
But
How's the
try
new
to
year treating you? Because according to our schedule, this will be out sometime near January.
Oh my goodness. I can't believe we're only a couple months away from the new year. That is wild. Um
Yeah, Derek, only 6 weeks till your birthday. Fun fact.
I'm gonna cut that.
I know because I was talking to Chelsea yesterday. She goes, "I only have 6 weeks left," and I was like, "Oh, when you say it like that, it sounds so short."
That's a long time to
It's it's funny though how things like you're like, "Oh yeah, that's still 100 days away," and then someone says, "Yeah, it's only 3 months away." You're like, "Oh my gosh, it's so fast." Oh, I've only got so little time.
well,
Somehow
what
rephrasing it changes how it fits into your brain
how it
space, and
feels.
yeah, suddenly it's only 3 months away.
So I know
Only
we're
6 weeks.
already past Thanksgiving when this episode
Correct.
comes out. But Amanda, what are you doing for Thanksgiving?
I believe I'm just here. Uh, I have the benefit in life, which many people do not have, in that both my parents and my in-laws are very close together. So theoretically, I can try to make it to both, but usually my mother-in-law is a kind and beautiful soul and will have like a Saturday luncheon to
Oh,
like
that's
get
nice.
people to. Hopefully it'll just be a really chill, have some turkey, watch my dad spend way too much time basting a turkey for it to just be okay, because turkey is only ever okay, and I stand by that opinion.
Oh, I love turkey. I'm a big turkey fan.
It's always just okay. Maybe you got fresher turkeys. Maybe this is like the cantaloupe thing where Americans don't like cantaloupe. It's because we have bad cantaloupe.
Really? I mean, I
No,
also like
Dad is bad at turkey.
Dad's making them cantaloupes.
Yeah, I mean turkey it can come out really dry and then some I've been to Thanksgivings before where and Christmases where the main course comes out first and it's great, but then we're waiting another 30 minutes on sides that no one asked for and then the main dish is cold and not good.
Oh
So,
no. See, I think I'm just a side dishes bishes, as it were. I like deviled eggs. I like stuffing. I
oh, I
like
love
as a kid
stuffing.
I put olives on every finger, yum 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 yum. Um I like the sides more than the turkey by like a long ways.
I like the turkey the next day when I can make sandwiches.
Yeah, I do like a sandwich. That's true.
Yeah.
I do like a sandwich. People people underestimate the joy of a really good sandwich. And
Oh,
I
absolutely.
like sometimes you just got like a hearty sandwich and you feel like Dagwood, and you're like I'm just gonna stack this huge sandwich and I'm gonna eat it. And sometimes just that lettuce, that salt, that pickle, hits just right, fixes your problems, clears your skin. Definitely doesn't clear your skin, but
Well, I guess considering we're in the future,
yeah.
what about Christmas? What do you guys do
Uh,
for Christmas?
so we always go to every year something our local zoo puts on called Zoo Lights, which
I
is the
love it
Portland
already.
Zoo puts they have a count, which I don't know how they possibly could have counted. It's like 6 million lights, and they have like animatronic lights that move, like the crocodile opens and shuts. They have
Oh, cute.
lights that they line up in a row so it looks like something's happening. It's a fun little thing that the Portland Zoo does. If you know, you know. I don't think they're the only ones who do it, but we go every year. And so I'm always really excited for Christmas to roll around so we can go do the zoo lights because I love zoo lights. We
Aw.
had to drive through during COVID. Luckily, I have a very small electric car. and so you could just drive through the like maintenance roads that they have in the
Mm.
zoo in your car. It felt like you were being part of like some secret club. You're like, ooh, I'm driving on the maintenance roads of the zoo. It was fun.
That sounds adorable.
Yeah.
Very cute.
Other than that, I have no idea because that's a problem for future me, but also past me. If you're listening to this, what a paradox.
Oh man, we usually go to my in-laws in Boston or near Boston for Christmas, which is nice.
I've been watching a lot of Survivor. So many people on Survivor are from Boston. I'm just gonna go ahead and say Boston
Really?
has an unusually high amount of survivors.
I wonder why. The
Because they're just
scrappiness of
desperate to get
Boston.
out of Boston, I assume.
Aw, spoken like a true Westerner.
I have nothing against Boston. Literally, never even been there. I had
Boston's
one
cool, it's
coworker who was
old.
from Boston, and the only thing that she would do that was Boston-y, as it was, when she would get like particularly incensed with the children, it would come out in her speech. Be like, you guys are being wicked bad right now.
I
Dang.
love wicked anything. It's so funny. My husband generally has like a regular Northeast accent, but if you get him going occasionally, that Boston comes out.
Yeah,
It's my favorite thing.
I had an old boss who was Canadian, and for the most part, his accent had Americanized. But early in the morning, because I was their nanny, so sometimes I would travel with them. To be in my early 20s. And but he would come, and the first thing in the morning, his accent was so Canadian. He'd be like, "Oh, sorry, you want some coffee or whatever?" And I'd be like, "No, I'm good." I don't know why. Somehow in the morning, his like accent just really came out.
Really happened.
Mm-hmm.
Accents are fun.
Yeah, I've just got that Portland one, and
I don't detect much of a difference between the way you speak and the way I speak.
no, I think it would come down to colloquialisms.
Yeah.
And maybe like the pronunciation of a few choice words.
Oh,
But
I
I'm
say
no.
wooder.
Yeah, exactly.
Wooder.
I had
instead of
a
water.
New York friend, and they always pronounced it Caffey.
Oh,
And that was
Caffey.
really the only thing the only New Jersey thing that they did was Caffey.
I think I call it coffee. I call it coffee.
Oh yeah.
But I'm Southern New Jersey, and our accent is closer to Pennsylvania, which is why
Oh,
I say
okay.
water instead of water. I have to really think about it to make myself say water correctly.
Water seems like one of those words that you could really test someone's native accent based on how they say water.
Oh,
I'd
yeah.
like water. Anyway,
I was trying to think of a segue between water and our bug for today, and
speaking
I guess
of liquids,
you might need a lot of water to extinguish the fire burning in the belly of the Bombardier Beetle.
Yeah, so we're talking about Bombardier Beetle this week, which leads me to my first and most important question. Because I try not to do research before these things because I want to be as naive and blank as perhaps some of our audiences about the ways of the Bombardier Beetle. So my first and most important question is, of course, is the word Bombardier French?
I actually forgot about the etymology for this.
That's like the subcategory of this podcast is
I
where
know.
does that word come from?
The chemistry for this week was so intense.
You were distracted by
it is French. Bombardier is French.
Oh, great. Okay. Well,
so
podcast done then.
Over. We can end the podcast.
So, like I said, I don't do research. So the only thing I really know is that these little guys go around and they explode. That's it. That's all I know.
They so much like their namesake Bombardier, which in French does mean cannon. So there's your etymology for the podcast. They create an explosion. They themselves do not explode. That's probably a big
Right. They're not pulling a what was it, a Voltorb in Pokemon? That it was like self-destruct.
Oh, you know what? When I was looking at this stuff, I tried to do cultural references as well, and I thought for sure there'd be a Pokemon Bombardier Beetle, and there's not.
Yeah, that seems like an untapped animal for sure.
That would
They've
be
moved
an
on now. They're
excellent
making trash
Pokemon.
bags into Pokemon now.
Yeah. They've moved away from bugs and birds, and now it's just weird
Mistake, in my opinion.
things.
They got to do whatever they can to get back to the animal
Well, the
Pokemon
whole
because
point of Pokemon
yeah,
originally was to enjoy the animal and
was
insects, I
to
think,
force
partly.
animals to fight, as is
As is their
every
way.
child's dream.
So one of my, I guess one of my favorite, not depictions, but sort of depictions of a Bombardier Beetle. Have you ever seen Starship Troopers?
I have, but not since I was probably in my early 20s. So 10 years ago.
It's a wonderful cult sci-fi classic in the form of books, comic books, movies. There was a animated TV show for like I think 1 year.
Oh my gosh, there's an animated TV show of anything for a period there. They're like,
Oh yeah.
I think we discussed briefly like the Men in Black cartoon.
Oh
Like there's
right.
anything could become a cartoon, at least for a season.
1 year, yeah, 1 season. But they had those big bugs that shot plasma out of them, and that kind of reminds me. I think that's the closest Hollywood depiction of a Bombardier Beetle we might have, unless they were in some kind of Bugs cartoon that again I did not watch.
Right. I'm sure there's buggy dudes out there that we're unaware of.
Yeah, no superheroes though, right? No Bombardier Beetle
Not that
superheroes.
I can immediately think of. The only thing I could think was comparable was, at least in the mainstream heroes, is there's a character Firefly, and he is a a villain, and he likes to light fires, and he shoots fires out of like gloves. That's as close as I think you could get. I think the problem with comics, of course, being both the joy and the downfall, is that it has such a long history, and for a long time in the golden age it was just monster of the week, whatever came is what came. So you'll get, hey, I'm the beetle, I'm the upside down pineapple cake, and you're like, there's never been a hero based on cake, and they're like, well, actually you'll find in the background shot of this one frame. So I can't speak definitively.
There's always an
everyone.
actually.
There's always an actually, and there's always someone willing to give it. So as far as I know, there's no mainstream one.
Oh, Derek has shared with us some kind of Pokemon called Genesect, and it looks kind of like a bug with some kind of blasting cannon on top of its head, sort of.
Oh yeah, it does.
I've never
have
seen
like
this
blasting
one before.
caps kind of around his body.
Yeah, I don't know if I count it.
Hard to say. I think you'd really need the it reminds me of, actually, let me say this later, never mind.
Okay.
Keep going.
So the Bombardier Beetle, these little guys, they're small, they're about less, they're a half an inch or less in length, so they're kind of tiny, and they've developed this really kind of, I don't even know if interesting is the right word for it, defense mechanism, where they create basically they create an explosion within their body, and it heats this liquid up. That it's like a mix of hydrogen peroxide and hydroquinones, and it heats up to between 55 degrees Celsius to 100 degrees Celsius inside their little bodies.
So it's boiling before it even comes at you.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And they are able to because of the pressure. Now this is what I think is really cool. There's no muscles that shoot this spray out. It's all pressurized, and it just launches out of this small opening in their abdomens, and it comes out hot. It can burn you. It'll burn your skin, and it's caustic besides that.
So not just acid, not just boiling, but boiling acid.
Boiling.
Oh no! I'm being dropped into a vat of boiling acid.
Well, it's technically not an acid, but we'll call it a very hot, noxious substance, if that works for you, Amanda.
Hot. That's my favorite phrase.
And it's yeah, it can stain your skin.
It
If you
stains your skin.
it stains your skin too
Not
and burns
just
it.
burns it, but stains it. Man, they really want you to know you've messed with me once. Never again.
Never again. Not
Never
even.
again.
Don't even think about it. If you breathe it in, it messes up your respiratory system, so you'll cough. It burns inside your throat, and it'll burn your eyes.
Well, I assume anything getting in those eyes is just never good.
And well, I mean, like most of our bug friends that do not want you to eat them, they give you a little bit of warning with that coloration. So they'll come in
The
usually some part of their body. Oh, you almost got it.
Aproxa
Nope, nope.
appropriism. I
Well,
don't know what it is.
aposmatism.
Aposmatism. Oh, I'm
You were
so
so
close. I was
close.
so close.
Amanda, I'm so proud of you.
I had
You got
nearly
most of the
learned
way
something.
there. Maybe next year.
Maybe next time. 2023, I'm coming for you. I'm gonna learn.
Oh my god, I'm so proud. I really am so proud. You were so close. That just tickles me so much. I love that. Listeners can't see, but my eyes are teary. That's how proud of Amanda I am right now.
She's so proud. Looks on like the professor to my student. She has waxed on and waxed off enough times that I almost nearly knew a word.
We were so close.
Ah.
But
yeah,
that
so they are.
coloration says don't eat me, and then if you really go that extra step, you're gonna get blasted with fiery caustic liquid, and it's kind of your fault at that point.
I mean, at that point, they gave you the warning. It's like a skunk. They're like out there being all, "Don't do it, bro. I'm trying to tell you, don't do this. You've left me no choice." Bam, right in the face.
Well, what's kind of funny is I was reading a study that came out of Japan where they had 2 species of toad, and they were feeding them, trying to feed them different species of Bombardier beetle. Well, one in particular, and the toads would readily eat them, and then the Bombardier beetle would spray inside the toad's stomach, causing the toad to vomit out the beetle, which is a pretty great defense mechanism. And
and then he lives. He skitters away.
He leaves, and the toad flips its stomach outside of its mouth and starts scraping it with its hands to get all that bits out of there. That's how uncomfortable it is.
Wow.
So one species of Bombardier beetle, and they tested this on 2 different species of toad, and both had the same reaction, going, nope, not interested.
It's like in a cartoon, I'm thinking specifically of Hercules, where he gets swallowed, and then halfway down the throat of the monster, here comes the sword.
Oh, yeah.
But with explosive caustic chemicals.
It's not a good time.
No. So how many varieties are there? Is there a green one, a yellow one? I want to Pokemon collect them all.
Oh, of colors?
Yeah.
Usually there's like a black and kind of an orangey brown spotted type. There's all black. There's black with like a yellowish head, black with an orange head. Usually it's the thorax to the head is brightly colored, and then the abdomen is generally darker in color. And either they're spotted or they're not. Some of them come in a metallic color, which I love in beetles.
We always love a metallic beetle. I think the one I'm most familiar with is this. It's dark in color with a couple of yellow spots, like yellow legs, yellow head, some yellow spots. That's the one I think I'm most familiar with. I think because it's on the original run of Planet Earth. They have a Bombardier. I think that's, in my mind, what is implanted in there when you say Bombardier Beetle. I think it's just this one scene from Planet Earth where he's like, "Don't do it, bro. Don't do it, bro." Then, psh,
well, that's the one where the beetle. So some of these beetles can really swivel their abdomens. So that I think that one swivels its abdomen under its body, right, and sprays forward.
Yes, I believe so.
Was that the scene? Yeah. Some of them will just turn their body around like a skunk and spray at you that way, but other species can tuck under and spray forward.
Oh, so they're so you're even coming from any angle, it's gonna get you. It's coming for you.
It's kind of cool how they're pretty. Like I said, they're pretty versatile, which is interesting. Oh yeah, Derek has pulled up the scene for us, but I think I put it in the Bombardier Beetle channel. Yeah, that one.
That's what I think of when you say Bombardier Beetle, is this one spraying it like through his own front legs. Gotcha!
Well, this spray is so effective. It's not only like toads or mammals, but if that hot spray would have hit an ant, it would kill the ant. So,
Oh yeah, that's I
because
had
remember, ants are
heard.
pretty rough on other species, predator wise.
Oh yeah, that's true. They do like to gang up on other bugs. Or like, surprise, you have no legs now. Meh, meh,
Yeah,
meh, meh, meh.
exactly.
Uh, I guess I hadn't thought about like again being influenced by this planet Earth scene, that a bigger creature comes to try and eat this beetle, but
hmm
against other creatures its own size, that must be devastating.
Oh yeah, imagine getting hot hot liquid on you from basically from a garden hose. If you can compare it
Oh
size wise, right? For us, I think garden hose would be kind of
yeah,
similar.
just a garden hose of spray all over you, and it's again not only boiling, not only acidic, but boiling acid.
Yeah, oh my god, I can't imagine. I don't know that I've ever really seen a bombardier beetle. I probably have and just didn't notice. Maybe thank goodness, because um
Could have
I
messed
don't
you up.
want 100 degrees Celsius, or what's that in Fahrenheit? 200,
I think
2
212, maybe
210,
220.
somewhere
Yeah,
around there. I think it's around 210.
Fahrenheit's bad.
Yeah. But like, so we'll say about 210 degrees Fahrenheit liquid stuff on me. No thanks. I'll pass. But some of them do look familiar. So the American bombardier beetle, Burkinus fumans, which is all over North America, I think they're the black ones with the red heads, and I think I've seen those before. They're super common.
So is this unique to the Bombardier Beetle, or they just perfected the game? They're just the best at it.
This shooting hot caustic liquid is a bombardier beetle trait. But
Oh,
there
okay.
have been other, it's not like we haven't had examples of beetles exuding something caustic, or beetles creating pressure in their bodies to shoot liquids. That's all been done before in the land of beetles. This is just a really kind of extreme, very specific process happening in the bombardier beetle, but with all the parts from other species, other groups.
He's just the goat of
He's the
throwing
goat. Yeah.
acid in your face.
I think so. Yeah. I'm hard pressed to think of another insect that is quite this impressive in its defense properties.
So we've been saying it as he sprays it
Or
at you,
she,
or she, they,
the ladies are
whomever this
involved as
bug
well.
chooses to be. Um, so we've been saying it as a spray, but
Mhm.
is it? So you said that it also like vaporizes. So is it like a puff of "Don't breathe
Um,
me" gas, or is it just like,
no, it's liquid, so it vaporizes it. Part of their reaction, that the reaction vaporizes part of the liquid inside the abdomen, and that vaporization is what creates pressure. So the
oh,
pressure forces out the remaining liquid.
okay, so it's more of like a
It's
steam
like a little steam engine. Yeah.
situation. Yeah, steam. I was gonna say steam engine, but I was like, crap. What if I don't know how steam engines work? What if I just assuming the wrong thing about steam engines? So just like a little tea kettle in there, then rather than delicious tea,
Yeah.
once again, boiling acid to the
Boil
face.
acid. Yes. Yeah, exactly. Just like that.
Because we see that we talked about spiders and their hydraulic legs.
hmm
That muscles is not what bugs rely on to make anything happen, really.
Well, insects are, they do have, I'm hesitant to call it musculature because it's not the same. But I'm trying to think of a way, yeah, because insects are not hydraulic. That is just a spider trait.
Oh, okay.
But there is pressure involved with hemolymph. But it's not like a hydraulic thing like
But
spiders. So
we
the
see
insects are
pressure
moving
coming
around.
up over and over, like they pressure the hemolymph through their joints. If as a
Right.
ladybug, they pressure the acid, they they use pressure rather than. I just think of animals, like mammals in particular, as kind of meaty things, and a bug is not meaty at all. And I think that's really the difference between lifestyle choices.
Well,
This comes down to how meaty you are.
a bug is an arthropod. Think about how meaty a crab or a lobster is. They're just
Oh yeah,
cousins, right?
I guess that's true. You've really got to get into a crab before you find any meat at all, and
And
then it is
their
of
legs
course
are meaty.
delicious. Yeah.
Yeah. So I haven't had
Mm.
crab since I was a little kid. I'm not a seafood fan.
Oh well, when you come to Portland, maybe we'll toss ourselves over
Yeah.
the ocean, and you can see the cheese factory and have some crab.
I would love this. So I've talked to Derek about this before that I want to go to the cheese factory, but my husband does not want to be in a car for an hour on
Ah,
vacation.
wow, sounds like he can stay home then.
Stay home and watch
We'll
the
go
cats.
see the cheese and the best ice cream flavor of all time.
What's
I'm
that?
not a big chocolate fan, let me say. My husband, huge chocolate fiend. We talked about it in the chocolate midge episode that I'm okay with chocolate, but I'm not like losing my mind about it. But the best flavor of ice cream, Tillamook ice cream. It is called Tillamook Mudslide, and it is just chocolate ice cream with just like rivers of chocolate through it. It is the
Oh,
ultimate breakup ice cream. Like,
it sounds
so good.
delicious.
And I can only ever have it when I go to the cheese factory, which is really a dairy factory, if we're being honest. The cheese is more fun to say. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because otherwise, it would be a problem in my life because it is so tasty.
It sounds good. I love chocolate. I'm a big chocolate fan.
Well, get thee to the cheese factory so you may have some mudslide.
I want to. We'll see. We'll see. I know I'm not gonna be able to convince him, but maybe.
If it helps, it's a very nice drive. The drive along the Oregon coast is very beautiful.
Oh, I'm sure.
It's a very
I'm sure.
relaxing drive. It's just through the woods, so it's just trees, 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 trees. Oh, I'm at the beach, which maybe this is a difference between how we speak. We don't call it the beach here in Oregon. We call it the coast because
Oh,
it's
we
not
call it
really
the
a beach.
beach. Yeah.
It's
Well,
it's
New
not really
Jersey
a
is
beach
full of
here.
real beaches, though. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Our sand is
Rocky?
wet always.
Oh. Oh boy.
Yeah, the tourist towns you'll have a deeper beach where it's dry at the top, but our beach is very wet compared, I think, to other beaches. Our tide is quite extreme. You get
Mm.
a lot of tide pools, good tide pool area if you're interested
Oh, I
in.
love a tide pool. You can find the coolest little wildlife in a tide pool.
Our famous rock is called Cannon Beach Rock, and the rock itself is Haystack Rock. I
Mm.
think it technically has a better name than that, but we all call it Haystack Rock because it just looks like a big haystack. And it is a great place to go tiding if you don't mind a little bit of crowds because it's a nice spot, right? You're
Can
gonna
you
run into other people.
can you
But
change the name to Bombardier Rock?
oh my gosh, Cannon Beetle, Cannon Rock. My gosh, the connections they make themselves. Wah, wah, wah. But they have a huge amount of puffins there if you're ever wanting to see West Coast puffins.
Would
That's
I
where
ever? I've never seen a puffin.
you've never seen a puffin.
I've
They're
never
good.
seen.
I like them.
I mean,
think
in a
they're very
zoo, but
cute.
it's not the same. Yeah.
It's not. We have an Oregon Coast Aquarium that also has puffins, and I always forget how teeny tiny a puffin is until I see one. And I'm like, oh yeah, they're like quite small. They're like scrub jay sized. They're little.
Oh, they're
dudes.
that small?
They're.
Wow.
I'd say they're a little bit bigger than a scrub, but they're small. I mean, they're like Cornish hens.
Last time I was in Portland, I was so excited to see a scrub jay because we don't have those here.
Oh, those little jerks.
They're loud.
Very
They
loud.
are
I don't know if
very
I've ever
loud.
told this story before. It's very possible I have on the podcast. You'll hear it again. My cat, I had a cat for many years, and he was very good at catching birds, but not great at killing birds. And one of the creatures he brought inside is a scrub jay. And for those of you who don't have scrub jays, they make this noise, which I don't want to replicate because it will blow out my microphone. But it is horrible. It's like, I'll do it very quietly. Boa, boa, boa. But except for at a volume previously unknown to man. It's so loud. And so my husband and I come home and our cat has brought home like a gift for us. Thank you. and it's a live scrub jay, and it's just flapping around our tiny apartment, just
Oh no.
blah, 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 blah. And so we're opening all the windows, we're opening all the doors, we're trying to chase it out. The cat's like, why don't you like my gift? I brought it specifically for you.
As they do.
As they do. And like ever since then I've been like low-key angry at scrub jays.
But that scrub jay was a hostage.
Scrub
jay was,
reverse.
That jay was the victim in this.
Reverse Stockholm syndrome. I'm mad at the victim in this one. Sorry, because he like comes for your face as you're trying to rescue him. He's like,
well, he's scared. He doesn't know what's going on.
I know, but
I'm just gonna say, how dare you, Amanda?
Fair, I'm not a perfect person. There's many things I wish I didn't do, and being angry at scrub jays may be one of them. But I hear they're really smart. They're one of those corvids.
Yeah, all corvids are pretty intelligent.
Not smart enough to get out of my house in an orderly fashion.
We have blue jays over here. Do you guys have blue jays?
We do have blue jays, but
No,
I believe they are. Oh, we don't. But we don't have the beautiful blue. I think we just have scrub jays that are blue.
Oh no, blue jays is a particular species.
Yeah, we don't have
jay.
We don't have the blue jay with like the crest.
They're
and
cute.
The blue beautifulness.
I love them.
We have stellar jays. That's what you're thinking of.
Oh, I'm thinking of stellar jays. Okay, well, I'm not a bird aficionado. I can see how it'd be easy to fall down.
That was a long pause between "I'm not a bird" and aficionado.
I'm not a bird. I am a regular human. I am definitely not multiple birds stacked inside of a Dutch Brothers sweater.
Well, now I'm not so sure.
Well,
although I've been accused of being
on a podcast to learn about the bugs I should or shouldn't eat because I am not a bird.
Well, Bird Amanda, do not eat the Bombardier Beetle.
I will not. This is going on my no.
Don't do that.
They will explode, apparently, in my stomach to the point where I regurgitate my own stomach and scrape it out, which is a horrible thing.
Toads are weird. Toads are very weird. I wish I could do an episode on toads. I want to do an episode on everything. Bugs or not.
Yeah. But
everything is so interesting.
If we frame it as a villain to the bugs that we have already done, we can sneak a toad in there.
We could sneak a toad in. Well, another kind of cool thing about Bombardier Beetles, speaking of, I don't know if I'd call them villains, but so there are a couple tribes. So tribes in taxonomy are specific groups of usually linked genera. That's jargony. You don't have to worry about that.
Oh.
There are certain groups of Bombardier beetles, and they live with ants. So they lay their eggs in the ant nest, and the ants will feed and protect their larvae. There's a couple hypotheses on why this is allowed to happen. Some is chemicals. The Bombardier beetle may emit chemical cues that are similar to the ants. And others...
tricksy.
Very tricksy. Other than chemical cues kind of saying, I'm an ant too, the beetles have something called a stridulating organ, which the ants also have. And it's an organ on their body that when they rub it creates a sound. And the beetle's sound and frequency, like the frequency and pulse pattern, mimics that of the ants. So it's kind of an auditory communication as well.
So he's literally walking up to these ants and saying, "Me too, right, guys?"
Yeah,
me too, guys.
Same,
right? It's just me. just us ants here, he says.
It's so cool. And the ants, and it's probably for protection, right? Because if you have an adult Bombardier beetle hanging out in your ant colony, things are probably going to be less likely to attack you.
Yeah.
Some of your ant sisters are going to be probably vaporized in that spray, but maybe it's, as we know, with ants,
small price to pay for the colony.
It's worth it to protect the whole colony. So sometimes ants migrate nests. Maybe they're outgrowing the nest, or it's threatened, or there's been a disease outbreak or something. And these ants will actually grab the Bombardier beetle's antennae and pull them into the new nest, into the migration pattern. So they bring them with
Oh,
them.
we gotta bring old Explodey Joe with us. Come on, dude. Come on.
Explodey Joe. Is that our
Yeah.
superhero's name?
Yes, of course. I've done some minor sketching here. Just to catch you up on where I'm at. I've got a single big cannon over one shoulder.
Oh, perfect.
With a backpack situation. We've gone a little steampunk because of the cannon felt very steampunk to me.
And the steam production inside the abdomen.
Yes, correct. Which is being represented by a backpack in this case. You mentioning the ants kind of makes me want to set him in the same universe as our pavement ant from episode 3. Maybe they have maybe they served together in the ant wars.
Maybe. There are a few different species of ant that do this. Some of them are leafcutter ants. Others are, I don't remember the other.
Keep the Bombardier as a not quite pet guy.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, I mean, you could put. Yeah, Derek? How would you add a little ant flavor to this drawing?
Hold on, let me pull up the old ant episode artwork.
You're usually better at that than I am.
She's very classic hero. She's got the unitard. She's got one big robot arm.
Yeah.
She's got grizzled
she's
battle scars. She's got potato chips the size of a sleeping bag.
Gotta have those snacks.
Snacks on snacks on snacks.
I don't know.
I think we just set them in the same universe. I think they're just bros.
I've assumed that all of these bugs are in the same universe.
That's true. That's fair. They should all be in the same universe so that they can have epic crossover episodes.
One day, Amanda, you got to draw a whole comic based on maybe the B team.
I think the B team seems like the most obvious. At least to do like a splash page poster of all of them, and they're
that'd
like
be fun.
And we should definitely come up with some sort of villain character that they are consistently, they're. What is it? Rita Repulsa in Star Wars in Space Rangers. Not even Space Rangers, Power Rangers. My gosh, I'm out of control. It's very early on a Saturday, listener, just so you know. Please don't judge me too harshly. But Rita Repulsa,
it's noon here in New Jersey.
I think we talked in the last episode about bears being the obvious villain.
Can you make a bear villain?
Not enough bear-themed characters. It seems like such an obvious character to
We talked about my great love of bears.
We do.
Boy, do I love a bear.
I love a bear.
I think I cut most of that.
Oh, well.
Oh, well.
Those of you who don't know, we love a bear.
Well,
this is a bear positive podcast. Not quite as catchy as pollinator positive.
We need little t-shirts that say pollinator positive podcast.
We need it. And we can use the little bee from the Halloween bumper. That's just like, wee!
Oh, he's so cute.
But there are definitely, I think we could probably group several of the heroes together. The ant and the bombardier, the B team, obviously. I want the ladybug and Isabella Tiger Moth to hang out.
Oh, they're best friends.
I want the whole adventure of Woolly Bear where he says nothing because he cannot speak. All he says is
grumbles. Oh my god, I would love a little cartoon.
I love a character that says nothing and yet people act like they can understand him. I don't know why that tickles me. But
he's like he's the R2D2 of our universe.
Exactly. I want him to say nom 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 nom, and they're like, good point. That's an excellent plan, Woolly Bear. You're such a strategic mind, Woolly Bear.
Oh, producer Derek is recommending a jetpack.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Because Bombardier Beetles can fly. They're not great at it.
Oh my gosh. So
they're not good at it.
None of them ever are.
I think they prefer not to.
So I'm just imagining a scenario in which, so do they at least live alone? Do they at least, other than the ants?
Yes, they live alone. They are not colonial.
I'm not going to accidentally.
They're not gregarious like ladybugs. No.
Yeah.
No.
Can you imagine though? You're walking through the forest. I'm walking through the forest, and you part the leaves, part the branches of a willow tree, and the whole tree is just bombardier beetles, and they all turn their little buggy heads to look at you, and you know that you're about.
And then their little buggy butts.
And then their little buggy butts start to steam like kettles. And then they all come at you, and you're like, well, I guess I'm about to be boiled to death. Boiled in acid!
They do steam while they're producing this, which is kind of cool.
I mean, visually, such a strong
Oh yeah.
bug. Just like, bam, there he goes.
Adult bombardier beetles are pretty omnivorous. They'll eat other insects. They eat fruit, decaying plant matter. They'll eat basically anything. They're like little trash cans walking around. But the larvae are really weird. So I mentioned the ant thing. So the ants will feed some of their larvae. Other species, there's one where they hang out at a riverbed waiting for aquatic beetles to emerge. So some beetles have aquatic larval stages.
We talked about the aquatic larval stage. We haven't talked much about any bugs that live on the water, and it feels like we definitely need to like get a water skipper in there or something.
Yeah, we'll get a water skipper or a boatman or something. But these beetles, their larvae will crawl out of the river, and then they have to pupate. So they'll go under a rock, and they'll become pupa. Well, our friend, the Bombardier Beetle larvae, which looks a lot like other beetle larvae, but their legs are a little longer. They're a lot more mobile. They can move around. And they will go find this pupa and then start eating it.
So rude. So rude.
And the Bombardier Beetle larva will go through all of its instars, so all of its stages, eating one larva from this other species. It'll molt, and then when it comes out of the molt, it'll keep eating that one pupa, and then it'll molt again until eventually the Bombardier Beetle is ready to pupate too. But it just eats one other larva, which is kind of interesting.
Just that one is
one.
enough to satiate.
Yeah.
At least I guess they're not murdering multiple dudes.
Yeah. And then there's another group where they will the female will find a cricket hole. So mole crickets will make little burrows to live in and then lay their eggs. The Bombardier Beetle female mole looks for one of these dens, lays her eggs with the mole cricket eggs. The Bombardier Beetle larvae will hatch and then eat all of the cricket eggs. So there's like a lot going on with how the larvae find food.
I mean, we said that we thought they were friends with ant, but this is some villainous behavior. I'm just saying.
It's a lot. It's so interesting though, isn't it?
Choices happening of murder.
That's a lot of different survival strategies for one.
It's a lot.
Taxon.
The specialization of I both explode and I'm also a cuckooer. What is it? Cuckolding all these other bugs via murder.
It's fascinating.
It's ruthless out there for a Bombardier Beetle.
I must have downloaded 10 journal articles on Bombardier Beetles, even beyond once our show notes were finished, and I knew I could hopefully talk about this with some expertise. I just kept reading about them because they were so fascinating.
I mean, the ability to explode acid out of you is really
not acid. It's not acid.
Okay, I'm sorry. The ability to explode boiling hot caustic material.
That's better. Yeah. I just don't want to confuse anyone thinking it's acid. Yeah. I get it. Acid sounds more like something we can wrap our heads around.
Right. Yeah. It's just something that I'm familiar with. I'm familiar with what acid does, and it sounds an awful lot like this does what acid does.
I don't need a chemist adding us for
actually.
Yes,
that's fair.
I'll actually for them here in the podcast.
So if they've got all this not acid, but close to acid, sitting inside of them, how do they not get hurt by it? If it's just sitting in there.
So first of all, the hydrogen peroxide and the hydroquinone are sitting in glands. So they're excreted through glands into this chamber where they kind of mix together. And that causes a very mild reaction. It's not much. The explosion happens when they are pushed into a secondary chamber, which is lined with catalase. And a catalase just starts the reaction, basically. I'm not going to discuss a lot of chemistry here because that can be both confusing and boring. So the catalase makes the reaction happen. But that chamber is also lined with protective cells. So the and it shuts off. There's like so inside an insect's abdomen, everything is kind of connected, but there's a valve. So as the pressure increases, that valve closes and it protects their vital organs, so they don't get steamed or you know, because you don't want that goop inside your body. It's only in a special
Right.
chamber in the beetle. Which
Okay,
is
so
lined.
they're
It's protective.
waiting to combine the necessary elements.
Yeah.
Until
They're not just
until it's
walking around
needed.
with boiling liquid in their abdomens
I
all the
mean,
time.
I feel like that's fair. The way it reminds me of a movie that I believe is not well remembered or fondly remembered, but it was what was it? It was called like Rain of Fire or something like that.
Oh,
But
I
they
remember
had
Rain of Fire.
oh,
The
okay, great.
dragons?
So they
Yeah.
had these dragons, and I just thought the fire was such an interesting way to do the fire, where it seemed to have, to my memory, which I haven't watched this movie in forever, but they would shoot two different liquids and they would meet, and that's what would make the fire for the dragon, rather than the dragon mythically breathing this magical fire.
Oh,
It like kind
right.
of made a chemical reaction in the dragon's mouth, and that was what caused the fire. So that's what it reminds me of. That this
I wonder if
waiting
they
to,
got that from the Bombardier Beetle.
bro. I think you may be right. I think we can find
Maybe
we
they
gotta
had a
find the
science
character
consultant,
creators for.
you know? Lots of these movies have science consultants who will help create a more realistic type of magic even, you know.
Right. The realms of physics and all.
Hollywood, I'm here for you. If you'd like to hire me
She's here.
as your science
I'm also
consultant.
here if you for characterization needs.
Hire both of us. We're a team.
One of my memories came up the other day, and it was like me being a pretentious college student, but it was like, nothing annoys me more than historical inaccuracies that a quick Google search could have solved. And while pretentious college me is being pretentious, but also I feel like she's right. Like, please just Google the stuff in your
It's so
Google
easy.
before you just present it as like. And then there was velociraptors in Regency era Europe, of course, as there always has been. And you're like, no.
Yeah, it does make me a little bit annoying too when I see things like that. Derek's little messages are blowing my brain up.
He had to know about what the fire in the Rain of Fire was. The mechanism of dragon's fire breath in this movie, inspired by the biology of real life creatures, such as anti-predator adaptation of the Bombardier Beetle and the poison glands of vipers, because they are very, lizardy, reptile-y things, dragons. Also used in later works such as Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, Part 1, Gods of Egypt, and Game of Thrones. Because they don't really ever justify the fire breath in Game of Thrones. They're like, and he breathes fire. It's a dragon. Yeah. Don't worry about it.
I feel like we don't have to explain how dragons breathe fire. It's fantasy. Just let them breathe fire.
Just let them breathe fire. I don't need
it.
They're magical creatures. They breathe fire. It's fine. Yeah,
just call it magic.
I like the Rain of Fire thing because while I often will rail against the need to hyper realize things that don't need realism, like, stop doing that. It's fine. It's a fantasy thing. Yeah. It's fine. You don't need to justify it. I just thought that one particular instance I thought was an interesting justification of how a dragon breathes fire.
That's fun. That is fun. I like that. I completely forgot about that in that movie. I haven't seen that movie.
I know
in like
nothing else
years.
about that movie. All I remember is that they had this like dual liquid system to breathe fire. I remember nothing else. Literally a blank.
Oh yeah. Well, that film came out in 2002, so I was right about 20 years.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
I think that's the last time I watched it.
Yeah.
Clearly the only impression it made on me was the creature design. If you ever want a good time, Kelly, you should Google. Here's my ADHD at work that I've jumped to a completely only tangentially related topic. You ever want a good time? Google corgi half mix or corgi mix, and it's just other dogs that have no legs. It's so good. Somehow the corgi trait is that they don't have legs. It's the one thing they always pass down.
Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, I've seen some stumpy looking dogs, and they must be part corgi because they have little tiny legs.
I think it was Derek's ex-girlfriend had a dog that looked like just like a regular black lab that someone had taken out at the knees. Like, oh, okay. Where's the rest of your dog?
Amanda, how's your drawing going?
Oh, let me toss his sketch form over to the art here.
So what abilities are we giving our Bombardier Beetle?
So I gave him the big
Superhero.
cannon, and I've given kind of a jetpack situation,
Mm-hmm.
and I've kind of limited it to those two things. I have given him a expression that I think would be fitting of someone who had murdered a child, but but only as a
Is
child.
he definitely
as a, fellow
a
child.
villain? We're going.
I don't know. Maybe he is a villain, but I maybe he's. I mean, we did kind of a military background for
for the ant.
ant.
So maybe like a
And if they're
hired
connected,
hand.
So he might
Like a merc.
right?
A
Maybe he
mercenary.
lives in that gray zone
Yeah.
of like, I've done horrible things, but I did it for good reasons, or maybe I did horrible things, but I did it for a price.
Yeah.
You know, like no one's inviting this guy to Thanksgiving dinner.
He's got a code. Maybe he's like the Punisher.
Yeah. His code is spray caustic material on other things. That's the code.
It's a fine code. Fine code to live by.
Okay, I'm saving it as Bomb Beetle because I'm not positive I could spell Bombardier on the first try.
Ardier. Bombardier.
It's too late. It's already Bomb Beetle. It's already Bomb Beetle. I should change it to the Cannon Beetle. But Bomb Beetle is better. You know I love alliteration.
Yeah.
And let me toss this into Discord and I'll add the hard lines so you can tell what's actually going on.
I forgot he was steampunk. That was a surprise. Yeah. That was a surprise. Oh yeah, he's good. What kind of color are you going to use on this?
I think I'll go with because I'm biased because it's the one I knew as a kid, the yellow and brown version. Oh, my screen there we go. My toe touched a chord. The chant of my screen was like, "How dare you!" So like you said, there's a lot of varieties. Googling it gets like the yellow and black. There's an orange and black.
Yeah.
Like you said, there was that one kind of shiny green one that very reminiscent of the emerald ash borer. Maybe that's the connection, really. He's friends with the emerald ash borer and the ant. He lives between those two worlds because the EAB was definitely a villain.
Oh, totally. 100%.
Hard not to be a villain when you have a chainsaw for a hand.
Yeah, you can see Derek shared a photo of the green, the metallic green color.
Yeah.
They're very pretty.
It's really beautiful. Yeah. That one particular green with the shiny seems to be a recurring color I see on a lot of beetles. And I wonder if it's just that's an easy color to make.
Well, it's not, remember,
or just useful.
Remember when I talked about this with the emerald ash borer? I think it was that episode. It's not making a color. It's reflective divots.
Right.
And
they want to be green, I assume, because
it's the angle.
Trees are green.
It's yeah, they want to blend in. But the
the
way the light
it's also
angles.
possible to just the camera captures, right? Because I've heard that like in person kingfishers are beautiful, but for some reason when you try to take a picture of them, they look brown. And I don't know if that's true. That's just what I've heard about the bird, the kingfisher.
I mean, yeah, some kingfishers are usually really vibrant. Their chest is a little bit brown, depending on the species. If I'm thinking of the one that you're thinking of, the common kingfisher,
right,
where they're kind of metallic green.
Big beak. Yeah.
But their chest is a little bit brown. I don't know. I'm looking at a photo right now, and it looks pretty green to me. And you can tell that it's metallic
a long way
with photographs.
In photographs. Photography is another one of those interesting histories. And as an art historian, obviously, I happen to know more about it than the average person. But the color fidelity has always kind of been this struggle with photography, doing their best to get, you try to take a picture of your dress and send it to your mom so she can match.
Oh yeah, it's impossible.
A wedding or whatever, and it's just never the right color on your screen. And why is that? Why it seems so simple? It should just go right to the screen. But
do you try to match your dress to your mom's dress when you go to weddings? Is that a?
Only if we're like
Is that a
also
thing?
part of the bridal party. Not just like for fun.
I thought like a regular
But like
wedding
if
where you're
she's
a
like
guest.
wearing like right. Well, we not to get too personal on the cast as always, but all of my siblings have had blue in their wedding
Oh.
scheme with the exception of Derek. And so we all just wore blue to Derek's wedding anyway. Fun facts.
Derek, how did you feel about that?
No, he didn't notice because he didn't have it. He had a very small, low key sort of, very Derek wedding. All of our weddings were very indicative of who we are as people. Like if you could take a snapshot of each of our weddings, you're like, now I understand who you are.
Yeah, I think ours kind of was too. Weddings are pretty personal.
The best weddings are, if you're having a wedding, listen to me. If you're planning a wedding right now, it's January. So maybe some of you guys got engaged over the holiday break. Here's some advice from me, an old married lady, to you, someone who's about to plan a wedding. Do not worry about making it perfect. What you should be concerned about is, does it feel like you guys as a couple? At my wedding, we had a groom's cake. It was a professional wrestling groom's cake.
Sounds awesome.
Was it fancy? No. Was it expensive? Yes. But was it fancy? No.
Yeah, don't follow wedding trends.
The groom.
Do the thing that you want to do.
Don't follow the trends. Yeah. Do what feels like you guys. I will say you should pick a theme, a theme, an aesthetic that you're going for, because that will make the whole thing look really nice. Yeah. And if you care about photos, do that. My biggest advice, sorry that we've accidentally become a wedding podcast. My biggest advice to you, someone who's about to plan a wedding, pick 3 things that are important to you. Have your intended spouse also pick 3 things. If you are close with your parents and they are involved in the wedding, have them also pick 3 things. And have those 3 things be the things that need to matter, and everything else can go wrong and it will be fine.
I think that's very fair. That's fair advice.
For me, it was I wanted the right dress, I wanted good pictures, and I wanted I think that was it. Those are really the 2 things I cared about. Was that and that the people I cared about get to come. So as long as my dress was okay, I got to pick the dress I wanted, and as long as the photography was good, everything else could go wrong and I would have been okay. And that is just how you have to look at the day. Because if you're trying to get every single thing perfect, you will stress yourself to death.
Yeah,
and you will not enjoy your own wedding. It's a party for and about you. You should be the one enjoying it the most.
Yeah, don't be all stressed. And if something goes wrong, it's not the end of the world. Yeah, I'm the same. I wanted a dress, like the perfect dress, and I wanted everyone to come. And I wanted the food to be good. It was really important to me that the food was good, because
food was on Cody's list.
Because
that was his 3 things. I think were food, guestage. I don't even remember what his last thing was.
My husband wanted a carrot cake for our wedding cake, which is a little unusual.
Spice cake.
Did you? Ooh, spice cake.
Yeah, spice cake is just carrot cake without the carrots.
If I'm honest. It was delicious.
The thing that went wrong at our wedding, there was a couple of things that go wrong. Things go wrong. Someone forgets their shoes. The flower girl's hair isn't right. Whatever it is. Things go wrong. It's fine. The big thing that almost caused my mother to have a heart attack at our wedding was that she called the bakery the day of, or maybe it was the day before, to arrange the cake getting dropped off at the venue. And the bakery that we had used had closed, as in gone out of business.
What?
And they had not informed us that
after they took your money.
After
they
make
took
a
cake.
Money.
Oh my God!
I didn't know about this till several days later, because mother kept it from me. She was like, she doesn't need to know. She doesn't need to know. So my mom's just freaking out that on this phone call. Oh yeah, we're closed. We went out of business 2 months ago or whatever. It turns out that they were fulfilling all the orders they had made. When they just were taking new orders. You can imagine the panic.
Oh my God, that's terrifying. I think for mine, really the only problem was,
it's called Hank's, Derek. It was a Hank's bakery.
We had a bagpiper at our wedding that played.
How fun!
It was awesome, and he played.
Was that your Scottish heritage?
It was from my grandmother, who unfortunately she was very sick and couldn't make my wedding, so that really sucked. But we had a bagpiper, and he played as all the guests. Yeah, I cursed. Sorry. You can cut that out. So we had a bagpiper, and he played while the guests came in. And then when it was time for him to go, and he played me down the aisle, which was really cool.
Yeah, obviously.
And then no one brought the money to pay the bagpiper. And I had like a panic attack about it, and I was like, "Someone's got to pay him. He just did the job.
Someone's got to pay this.
Oh my god!" I go, how come no one has the money? Who was in charge of the money? Because it wasn't supposed to be me.
Obviously, you don't have pockets. You're wearing a very fancy dress.
I'm like corseted into this dress. There is no room. Anything. I'll have to show you my dress.
Any dollar bills.
And but eventually that was solved. But that made me very upset because I wanted to, the man did a job. You gotta pay him.
The man needs paid. Yeah. I'm not some rapscallion going around trying to rob
bagpipers.
My good and local bagpiper.
But it was cool.
Our first dance song was to the theme to Jurassic Park, played on like, I think it's called like a melodica.
I'm laughing, like, but I love that so much. Actually, that's fantastic.
Just like imagine it played on a harp. Do do do.
Oh, beautiful.
And like the funnest part of it, Cody and I both love Jurassic Park. It's like one of our favorite movies.
Me too.
But to watch the people at our wedding like kind of slowly realize that they know this song from somewhere was so good. Like, wait a second. This is the theme from Jurassic Park? They're like, yes, it is.
When I was dancing with my dad, the song was a little longer. I did White Horses by Tori Amos.
Oh, yeah.
And the song was longer than I kind of wanted. So we're dancing, and like every couple of seconds I'm like, Dad, are you done? Can we be done dancing? Can we be done? Can we like go do something else? And he's like laughing, and he goes, look at your mother right now. So I look over and my mom is bawling. Like,
yeah, of course.
She's so happy. Yeah, she's so happy. She's crying. My brother's like trying to comfort her or whatever.
Yeah,
and
like,
he goes,
"It's okay, Mom." It's all right.
My dad's like, we can't stop dancing. She's crying so much. And he was,
we have to see this through.
He was just laughing, and I'm laughing. And then I had to tell him, please stop making me laugh because you're gonna ruin my makeup.
You're gonna ruin my expensive makeup.
But then eventually, I just said, we're done dancing now, and we stopped before the song ended because it was too long.
Yeah, dancing with people, because we're not a very touchy family. Like, we don't hug or anything, which we could get into like that whole thing. But so like dancing with my dad was like, oh, we don't ever like hold hands or anything, and now we're like holding hands in front of
everyone,
200 people that we know.
It is a weird tradition. I think it's a weird tradition to have to dance with your dad.
In the patriarchy. Yeah. So you know how I feel about it.
I come from a very huggy, touchy, kissy family, so it wasn't weird for me to dance with him. But it was weird for me to have all that attention. Everyone looking at you for like all day. Too much. It was too much for me.
Too much.
I had too much to drink because there was too many eyes on me.
I gotta stay alert. Whoops. Nope.
But weddings can be fun if you don't let them make you crazy or upset.
So some accidental advice from us here on the from your internet moms. Yeah. We want you to know
this is the wedding episode.
This is the wedding episode. Bombardier Beetle walking down the aisle. Bombardier Beetle.
Explosive.
The wedding night was amazing. Explosive.
Oh, I'm not going to say what I was thinking. Not appropriate.
I know. I am always skirting really close to these. So, other than as a groom, how would you give the Bombardier Beetle on a scale of 1 to 6? Give me those legs.
How many legs? Oh, I don't know, maybe 4. I'm gonna give him 4 legs because it's almost cheating to be that good at predator avoidance.
Yeah, we talked about how specialized he is. He's the best at what he does.
Oh, yeah.
And what he does is explode. And it feels like that's really, 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 really cool. So I want to give him a lot of legs because that's really, really cool. But I'm just not sure how useful this bug is. So I'll give it 3, maybe 3.5 legs. Just because I think it's so cool, but I also feel like it just really does that one thing. Eats. I don't know. The ant thing's pretty cool. I'll go up to 4. I'll give it a solid 4
4. You're
legs.
gonna go all the way up to 4.
I'm gonna go all the way up to 4.
Fair.
So I think we're matched on the 4 legs. Hold on, I'm adding extra screws.
Oh, okay.
Because this is a steampunk situation here. You gotta have unnecessary rivets in every single moment that you can. I don't have any like just floating screws. That's the thing about like Spirit Halloween. You'll see like steampunk hat, and it's just a hat with screws like or gears glued to it, and you're like, it's not just about the gears. It's that the gears are doing things.
But yeah, they should be spinning something, right?
Yeah. Well, I think we could get. I'm not a steampunk aficionado, but I believe the idea is kind of what if we'd not burned coal? What if we'd stuck with steam? Like, how would the world be different? Okay. I'm not sure what else our little guy needs here. We've got the big backpack full of caustic liquids. We've got what's the word I'm looking for? We've got a big water cannon. We've got the top hat. We've got a fancy coat that has brown and yellow details that I haven't added yet. He's a little steampunky guy, and he's got a questionable moral code.
He does. He absolutely does.
They can't all be operating on the true blue here. Sometimes they gotta have a code of their own.
All right, let's look at him. Oh, he looks excellent. I love his little cannon. It's got steam coming out of it. It's great. Actually, steam all over it. That's adorable. Yeah, he's very steampunky.
Feel free to imagine that every time he walks, it makes like a terrible rattling. It's like
he smells bad.
That's his signal to the ants that he's one of them, is the horrible rattling noise he makes.
Oh, it's perfect. He looks
Me
wonderful.
too, right, fellow kids?
Me too. Hey, fellow ants.
Hey, fellow ants. It's just me, your buddy, your pal. They're like, all right, let him in. I like to think the ants know, but they're like, just let him think that. Should we ask Rotunda her opinion?
Rotunda?
You probably shouldn't. She's licking herself.
Well, we hope you'll join us in the new year, you guys. And we hope you had happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
And, happy holidays to whatever you celebrate. We love you. We bug you. That's how it goes.
Hopefully not too much.
Hopefully we don't bug you too much and you'll come again. See you next time.
Bye.
Bugs Need Heroes is created by Derek Conrad and Kelly Zimmerman. Hosted by Amanda Niday and Kelly Zimmerman. Bugs Need Heroes is produced and edited by Derek Conrad. Our music is Ladybug Castle by Roll Music. All character art by Amanda Niday. Got a bug question? Email us at bugsneedheroes@gmail.com. Check us out on bugsneedheroes.com for the visual companion to our episodes with the artwork of the bug-related heroes. We also have an Instagram, Twitter, and subreddit under the Bugs Need Heroes name. Thanks for coming by.